Class 10, First Flight, Chapter 4, from the Diary of Anne Frank by Anne Frank. Introduction. Anne Frank was born on 12th June 1929 in Frankfurt in Germany. The rise of Hitler and the Nazis brought untold sufferings for the Jews in Germany. Being Jews, they emigrated to Holland in 1933, but Holland was soon occupied by Germany. The Franks went into hiding in July 1942 in the office building of Anne's father in Amsterdam. From there, they were arrested on the morning of 4th August 1944 and transported to concentration camps. In April 1945, upon liberation, Otto Frank, Anne's father, was the only survivor from the family. About the chapter. The chapter is an extract from the book The Diary of a Young Girl. In this chapter, Anne talks about her background and then goes on to record in her diary the events that happened on 20th June 1942. Anne Frank's diary. Anne kept a diary from 12th June 1942 to 1st August 1944. She named it Kitty. Initially, she wrote the diary strictly for herself. One day in 1944, an exiled member of the Dutch government announced that eyewitness accounts of the people under the German occupation would be collected and made available to the public. It was then that Anne Frank decided that she would publish a book based on her diary, and she began rewriting and editing it. In her diary, she gave a deeply moving account of her family, the life in the annex, and the persecution of the Jews in general. The last entry in Anne's diary is dated 1st August 1944, after which she was taken to the concentration camp. Her father, Otto Frank, who was the only surviving member of the group, decided to fulfill his daughter's wish and published her diary. Readers all over the world know it as The Diary of a Young Girl. The summary. The chapter progresses in the following manner. Anne talks about the strange experience of writing in the diary that she had got on her 13th birthday. According to her, paper has more patience than people. She intends to write her musings in her diary as she would not allow anyone else to read it. She wants to keep a diary because she doesn't have a friend. She has loving parents, a 16-year-old sister, so-called 30-odd friends, and a huge family. Yet, she cannot share her innermost feelings with anyone, so she decides to write the diary. She wants the diary to be her friend, so she calls it Kitty. As she starts with the diary, first she provides a brief sketch of her life. Her father, Otto Frank, was 36 when he had married her mother, who was then 25. Anne was born in June 1929 in Frankfurt in Germany, and her sister Margaret was 3 years elder to her. They lived in Frankfurt till she was 4. Then her parents emigrated to Holland in 1933 and joined them in February 1934. She remembered her sixth form teacher, Mrs. Ch-4, whom she adored. In 1941, her grandmother fell ill and she passed away in January 1942. Then begins the entry in her diary, dated 20 June 1942. The diary entry. She discusses how the whole class was worried about the impending result and boys were even making bets. She had a good equation with all the teachers except her maths teacher, Mr. Keesing. She talks of Mr. Keesing and how he used to get annoyed due to her incessant talking. As a punishment, he started giving her essays to write on weird topics. She justified all her 3 essays and explained that talking was a trait that she had inherited from her mother, so nothing much could be done about it. For her, writing the essays was more of a pleasure activity than punishment. He laughed really hard while reading her last essay, which was a satire. After that, he stopped giving her extra work as punishment. The diary finishes here, and so does the chapter. Let's once again go through a brief synopsis. Anne Frank's parents give her a diary on her 13th birthday, and she names it Kitty. She doesn't have a true friend, so she is happy that finally she has found something or someone to confide all her secret thoughts in. She starts writing her diary. First, she writes a brief account of her family and initial childhood, including their migration to Holland due to the strengthening Nazi dictatorship in Germany. She makes an entry in the diary on 20 June 1942, in which she describes the lighter side of her school days. Here are the questions from Oral Comprehension Check 1, 2, and 3.